Hi everyone, I'm Connie. Welcome to Year 4C. During fourth year, my rotations were Psych at Casey and Dandenong, GP, Women's at MMC and Sandringham, and Peds at Maroondah and MMC. My priorities for the year were of course studying heaps, being the chair of Muppets and running Medball. I also played netball every week, was in an orchestra, did a little bit of research and was working on a podcast project on the side. I was also working part-time, so that was one shift a week for me. I ran a Vespa for the Year 3Bs and I got to go to Global Health Conference in Adelaide for a week. On average, I'd say I probably spent about 10 to 15 hours studying on a good week, but sometimes it'd get down to like 2 or 3 hours if I was busy with other things. In terms of time, being chair of Muppets and running Medball were probably my two most time-consuming non-study activities. And honestly, there were several times when my extracurricular activities got in the way of my studying. In particular, leading up to all of the Muppets events, leading up to ticket sales for Medball and Medball itself. I was essentially devoting all of my time and energy to those things and not getting a whole lot of study done. It was quite stressful because I felt like I was falling behind, so I definitely recommend being a little bit more organised than me if you're going to be committing to a lot of extra things, but also just be careful to not overcommit because it's important to be able to take some downtime and take care of your mental health as well. In terms of study methods, my goal for study was to get as much of it done as early as possible. So I started looking at psych things before uni started, and then I tried to stay at least one rotation ahead at all times in terms of study. I did most of my learning from textbooks, from Vespers that were given by the year above, and from notes that other people had made. I wanted to do as many practice exam papers and OSCE sessions as possible, so I had most of my study finished by about September and then only did exam revision from then onwards. So that included past exam papers and practice questions from a bank like past tests or past medicine and OSCE practice. I focused a lot on women's and on GP because it had the most content and it was well structured and seemed logical and was quite easy to learn. Peds was also really fun and I loved studying it, but the PEDS exams were quite predictable and so I didn't feel like I needed to spend as much time on it. Psych is a little bit odd. You kind of just try and hope for the best for Psych, I think. The thing that I found the most difficult throughout the year was probably maintaining a social life. It was very hard for me to not feel guilty when I was not being productive. So I cut down a lot on doing social things, and when I did do social things, I wasn't like fully 100% there because I felt like I should have been studying. So my friendships outside of med and relationships definitely suffered. I also stopped doing a lot of things that I like doing, such as like going outside for a run or eating nice food at good restaurants and catching up on Netflix and sleep. I think if I were to do Year 4C again, I'd try and stress less, especially about the little things. There's just so much to learn and to know, and as important as it is to try and be thorough with your learning, it's also important to realise that you're probably not going to be able to know absolutely everything. And part of it will come down to luck and just what comes up on the day in terms of exams and OSCEs. And sometimes you will have covered it in your study and sometimes you won't have, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you haven't done enough study. Year 4C is a marathon. I would recommend you try and study consistently throughout the year and try to do as much learning from the wards as you can. Try and keep a balanced lifestyle, make sure you're doing things that you like, exercise, music, spending time with friends, family, whatever it is. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, take care of each other when you can, share your resources, practice OSCEs together, teach each other things that you've learned. As cliche as it sounds, it's so much easier to get through Year 4C as a team. If you guys have any more questions or want someone to chat to about Year 4C or study or extracurricular things, feel free to add me on Facebook or send me an email. I'm clam26@student.monash.edu. Always here to chat. Best of luck for the year. You guys will all be fantastic.